Hello there, welcome to the channel, welcome back perhaps. And today another little experiment that we've been doing, hopefully for your entertainment. And once again we're dealing with trying to get some synth tracking going across the whole range of the contrabass. You may remember we've got two previous videos on this, one from the studio and one from relatively recently, where we were trying to use the POG to see if the upper octaves would track more easily. And the basic conclusion there was because the rhythm, the internal rhythm of the contrabass is so intense and its lowest register, then even when it's put up an octave or two octaves, it doesn't quite track. So the thought that we've had today is that we will try putting the dark world, in other words, putting a little bit of reverb on that rhythm of the low notes to see how that might work to even out those rhythms and make things possibly detectable by the monosynth of the Enzo. So let's dive into that. First of all, a basic demonstration of the problem. What we have first of all is the mid-range, the not the mid-range of the instrument, but the EQ mid-range of the contra, which is the highest notes of the instrument. And we will show you how that tracks with the Enzo, which we have here on an octave up, just to demonstrate nicely. So here's the sample. With the Enzo. There we go. There we go. And you can hear how that the key clicks are something, or clicks of some kind. I believe it's the key clicks that are during the phrase that it picks up on for that kind of thing. But now let's go to our bass range, not the sub bass where the real problem exists, but the bass range where you can hear the beginning of the problem. Here we go. Quick experiment. Okay, so you can hear there how, especially on the lowest note of that mid-range, we still get the we start to get, I'm sorry, the effect where the synth is not picking up, it's not tracking as well as we would like. In fact, not well at all. The quick experiment that we did there with the POG was we, let's put it back there, was seeing how the attack function here, if used on the signal, if that would reduce the clicking sound of the keys on the contra. It did not, but a little experiment, little side experiment for us there. So now we're going to the bass range, the sub-bass range I should say, sorry, and you will hear how the tracking does not work. I mean, it's not even a bad effect. It's just not what we were hoping for a nice clean synth sound to be able to add to the contra. So that's right, let's keep it that 100% wet there. Our basic idea is, first of all, to see if adding some reverb will make that easier for the synth to detect. And what we're going to do, we're going to put it completely wet, which is, I believe, this side. Hopefully I don't have that wrong. And yeah, see if that does anything. We will also try playing with the what's the word, filter, the tune here, as they call it, a tone, sorry, and see if that does anything. So here we go. First of all, let's just hear it with the reverb. Yeah, that makes it worse, I think it's fair to say. Okay, now let's try a different algorithm. How about with it all the way shortest? Okay, let's darken the toning completely. Yeah. Even like that, not doing anything. Okay, so we are going to take that as a no. Using reverb, like a wet reverb, does not make it any easier for the synth to track. We were hoping that that might even it out. But there's a couple of things that we can try here. One of them is that the Dark World does have the capacity to do an octave. They call it shimmer. It's not quite a shimmer. It's an interesting other effect. But here's what it sounds like. So this is the shim mode going into the spring reverb, and again 100% wet. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that to work. Okay, let's call that a not success and move on, because another option might be to see if even if with it 100% wet, we might be able to use the POG to take it up an octave, up 2 octaves, and see if it tracks any better when it's put up an octave or up 2 octaves. Bearing in mind that the tracking was not good up the octave or up 2 octaves, even when we did it before, because the quality of those low notes on the contra, even when put up 1 octave, 2 octaves, is still very rough and not really trackable. So let's have a listen with the POG, and yeah, see how it sounds. So here's Au Naturel. Which we've already tried. So up 1 octave. Up 2 octaves. Yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise. Let's just do a double check on that so that we can see how it actually sounds with these different octaves and the tracking, so that we're not using the meris 100% wet. Here we go. Yeah, even with a hall reverb. Couple of hall is probably the cleanest. Okay, and then with the 1 octave. Yeah. Yeah, pretty wild stuff. So I think we can say, without too much bad feeling, that that is not a success. The tracking simply doesn't work with the tone, you know, the harmonic qualities of the contrabass clarinet. Even when it's put up an octave, 2 octaves, it is not trackable. So One other thing we could try is, as well as this being dark, we could try a low pass filter on here. Let's see how that sounds without the meris. I mean, yeah, still not tracking. Okay, I think we could safely say that even like that, it's not doing the job. That one seemed like it might be hopeful, but unfortunately not. Okay, well, we've given it our best shot. I do think that some kind of frequency splitter, like, is it the Eastern effects or Western effects? Maybe Great Eastern effects, EXO splitter. I think that's the correct brand name, at least product name. I may be mistaken, but I think that's just going to be the way it has to be for a synth with the contra. Is that we are better off only even trying to put it on the higher register, if at all, maybe. So that's it. However, to end on a happier note, one thing that we have noticed, which is quite interesting, is that the qualities of the lowest notes on the contra, when put up the octave, have a very unique kind of vibration to them that is actually worth noting. So, like, here are our here's our sample again. Two octaves up. Oops. Take off some of the harshness of that. I mean, even playing with the cue for that. Maybe you only need to. Insectile. Taking off some of the harsher there. But then, with a spring reverb, a little bit of a brighter tone. That's something quite special, I think. I mean, we would want to perfect it a little more, but... And then maybe even with this. But even just that. And a single octave up. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, that's interesting. Definitely something worth keeping as a textural sound for future use. Let's see how it sounds over the whole range of the instrument. Sounds like a clarinet there, a regular clarinet. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, it's fair to say that really it's only those low notes taken up 2 octaves that give us that unique tone there. So that's definitely something that it is worth remembering. So, may not have been exactly what we were expecting there, but still a nice little side quest that had some interesting rewards, even if the main adventure we were on wasn't quite where we hoped it would be. Well, thank you for sticking around. I hope this has been as interesting and enjoyable for you as it has been for us. And hopefully see you next time. Until then, be well.